What's going on, good people? I hope everybody is doing well. I wanted to come here today and talk about the things that I learned over this past week. Now, there was no trade review for day 50, day 49, or day 47. So those are probably not going to get posted because I took some trades that was just very stressful and it made me question myself as a trader. But I took that stress and then I worked through it and I figured out what exactly I did wrong, and that's what I want to talk about. So let's get right into it. Correcting my biggest mistakes. How to avoid buying the high or shorting the low, and these are the reasons why I continuously buy high and short low. So number one, I believe that the breakout is always coming. Now look, it's fine to think like this, but you can only act on this if you see the signs beginning to form. If the zone or the level hasn't been broken yet, then don't try and play the zone. And this is one of the biggest things I had to learn this week. So I want to go through these three charts that I traded over these past 3 days on the 18th, the 17th, and the 16th, and let's talk about why you don't want to buy high or short low and how to avoid it. So let's take a look at August 18th from yesterday, and let's look at trades 2 and trades 3. Now, as we can see, when the market opened at 9:30, we had a pretty nice move to the upside, higher highs and higher lows all the way up. But for some reason, I ended up buying at the highest possible price that got printed during that entire upswing. Now, the reason that I did that was because I saw yesterday's closing price right over here. It was at like, I think it was 34,524 if I'm not mistaken. So at this point, when I went long at around 35,508, just looking for a quick scout back up to yesterday's closing price. But no matter what, if you're looking for a level to get hit, you still got to follow the principles of good trading. You know, you got to buy low, sell high if you're looking for a long. And if you're looking to go short, you got to short high and buy it back lower. Always, no matter what the circumstances might be, because the reason that I feel like the move is gonna move without me is because I'm like, well, I've seen the market move up to this point, and if I get in right here, I feel like I'll be participating and I don't want to miss out. But here's the only thing, like when we talk about missing out, let's go back to number 2. I believe that I will miss out on the move that's about to happen. So this is where the mindset of abundance is going to come in. You need to remember that there's always going to be opportunity. And even if the market doesn't move, guess what, y'all? It's going to keep moving. So even if you miss that one move that did happen, you can catch the next one after that or the one that comes after that. It's all good. You don't have to feel like you're rushed in the market and you have to make a decision right here, right now. If you don't want to trade all day, you don't have to. So no matter what happens, remember that you'll always have chances in the market. So with that type of mindset, I think it would be easier to avoid trades like 2 and 3 where you go long at the highs and you just looking back on it like, why did I do that? Well, now see, I'm understanding why, because I have so many videos where I can identify the problem, but now I need to identify the behavior that leads to the problem and the mindset that goes behind that. And I think that's that mindset that I'm going to miss out. You're never going to miss out. And that's what I learned on August 18th. So we can actually see some more examples on August 17th where at trade 1, I went long here expecting the breakout, but you always got to respect the zone. In this specific scenario, we had a zone that lasted from 9:30 all the way until, I would say we broke the zone right here. This is what, 9:45-ish. So this was a 15-minute zone where prices were not able to break above or below. And if they did, they just wicked out but closed inside of the zone. So for me to go long right there, that's just expecting for the breakout to happen. But if we've been in a range throughout that entire period, you got to expect for what the market has already been doing to continue. Don't ever try and expect for the market characteristics to change. Now, when you do see the characteristics change, then you can change your strategy that you want to use. But as long as things are remaining the same, you keep doing the same thing. And that was on trade number 1. But then we come back, we see trades 5. I went long once again. Trades 8 and 9. I went long from the same period all day long before I finally realized that we were actually in an overall trading range between top level of resistance at 950 and then the bottom level of support down here at 860. So you always want to make sure you identify what type of market you're trading in, and whether it's a range bound market or a uptrending market, you still don't ever want to go long at the highs, no matter what the scenario might be. And then let's go back and let's look at August 16th. Now on August 16th, I want to talk about shorting. You don't want to short near the lows the same way you don't want to buy near the highs. It goes into the same mindset. You have to have a mindset of abundance and realize that the market is going to continue to move. It's going to be moves right here, right now, tomorrow, the next day, the next week, the next year. So if you miss this one, it's always one coming right around the corner. So don't feel like you are obligated to take that trade. And if we look at trade 7 and 8, I went short here as prices broke out of the zone, expecting for this bear trend line to hold up, which was a reasonable short trade to take at that moment. But when the first trade didn't work, it really didn't make sense to continue trying to short that move. So that's another thing too. When you break out of a zone and the short trade doesn't work, don't try and take that again until you see much better confirmation. So what I've also been learning is that when you're in a downtrend, just wait for those prices to come back and retest what used to be a previous low. It happens almost like 90% of the time. It's not guaranteed, but most of the time it's coming back to retest that previous low. And then after that, that's when it's going to start moving. So it just comes down to patience. That's all. You have to have a mindset of abundance, and you have to have a mindset where you're a patient trader, where you say, look, I have an idea, but I'm not going to short right here. But what I will do is short when it comes back to higher prices. Because if I would have been able to take the short from these levels up here, I would have been successful 1 time, 2 times, and 3 times. So it's very important when it comes to shorting. And the same thing happened over here at 11 and 12. I had the same mindset, just believing that because we already tried to break out at 7 and 8 to the downside and we failed, I believe that at 11 and 12 we should be successful, which ended up being true. The breakout did happen, but look at where it happened from. The breakout happened from higher prices. So if I would have kept that mindset and shorted from these higher prices that I was talking about at 7 and 8 and did the same thing at 11 and 12, I would have racked in the profits. Now look at trades 13 through 15 on the same day. Notice how once I started shorting as prices came back to retest resistance, and I stopped shorting at the lows and I shorted from higher prices, all of these trades were successful. Now 13 and 14, they came back to break even, but the entries were good, and if I didn't have my break even stop there, I would have been good and I would have made profit. But you know, sometimes that break even protects you, so you got to have that. But look at trade 15. I shorted from what used to be a previous low. Right now, I could have shorted right here, expecting for prices to come back to yesterday's closing price right here at the purple line. But I was like, nope, I'm going to wait for prices to come back, retest the previous low, and then as soon as they move away from that price level, I'm going short. And that's when the short trade started to work. So this is a pretty good example of what not to do and what you should do. So always remember, you do not want to go long from those higher prices, and you do not want to go short from those lower prices. Whatever you do, you always got to remember to have a mindset of abundance. Remember that. And the reason that I say that's so important is because the strength that I gain from being able to see a trade going sour and get out before it does is priceless. The same way I get a good feeling when I see a move that I feel like I have an urge to take, but then I read the market and I say, the market is down, we are moving lower, but if I short right now, I'm shorting from the lows. It has been times where I've actually been able to skip that trade, and then I watched the pullback happen, and I saw prices come back up to higher levels, and then I shorted. The feeling that you get from doing that and being able to stick to your decision is priceless. So I just wanted to leave that information with you guys. I hope you can learn something from that. And no matter what, remember, it's always opportunity in the market. So don't feel like you're under pressure to take the trade that's in front of you. Take your time and do your thing. So I'll be back again on Monday, or I might make another video tomorrow. But either way it goes, you guys take it easy, and I'll see you soon.